Alright, fingers crossed for a good day. And I gotta find my cell phone. I'll be right back. Alright, like I said, fingers crossed for a good day. Spent 2 hours maintenance in this combine this morning. A lot of times we do what I call a quick maintenance. Just take the grease gun, hit all the important fittings, and rock and roll. And then we also got what I call a hard maintenance, or a thorough maintenance. That's what we done this morning. Blew out my cab air conditioner filters. Blew out the radiator, condenser, oil cooler, intercooler. Fixed a section on the header. Cleaned out my moisture sensor on my yield monitor. That don't sound like a lot, but I probably spent a good 30 minutes blowing that radiator out. Blew off around critical areas of the combine. Cut a little over 50 acres yesterday. Pretty good day. We didn't get an early start. Well, we started about 12 o'clock. Hoping we can have an early start today. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful shot. Cutting these beans on the slide angle helps them. Well, I say a slide angle, I dang near crossways, but just even with this draper, cutting them at an angle seems to help with the feeding, helps with the cutting, keeps the header from dragging up as much. These full season beans, I probably could get out and tilt the header forward and shave the ground a little more. But when you get in them double crop beans, you need it rocked back so it glides over that straw better. Pretty good beans when you get up here in this corner. This corner is historically a very wet spot. I can't believe we even got it planted as wet as it was this spring. That's where that old big 4-wheel drive tractor came in handy. You got a lot of these wet spots. With them 2-wheel drive tractors, we would have had to leave them. But that 4-wheel drive articulating tractor, we was able to drag something on across it, get it aired out, get it fit to plant. I'm really debating going back to 30-inch rows. We had some 30-inch row beans up there on the hill, double crops, at the size of 15s, and the 15s might have been 2 bushel better. Might have. That's just observations from watching the yield monitor. But you also got to sit and think, I didn't plant about 110, 120 1,000 with the planter, whereas on 15-inch rows we planted 140 to 150. So you got some seed savings factored in there too. I really like the 30-inch row banks. They help each other come up. It's a lot easier to get a stand with them. Don't think you have near the disease pressure. I think it helps. I really think it helps some with when you experience heat like we did this year. Keeps that crop canopy cooler. So I'm really debating on going back to 30-inch rows. Alright, we're in the bean field here, and I've kind of been looking forward to cutting these beans. These back here behind the pond were replant beans. And I think they was planted July the 1st, I believe. Either last day of June or first day of July. No, I take it back. See, the first, 29, 20. Anyways, they was planted end of June, 1st of July. We replanted these, and the reason I was anxious to see is these was planted, you know, if they held on long enough to see if some of them rains in September helped us. And you can tell there's some good looking beans, which this dirt right here that we're on is better soil than that out in front of the pond. Got up in the 50s. Back here, you know, got a hook. This one went in the spring. There's springs that are all across this back here behind this pond. And when I say spring, it means water literally springs up out of the ground. All this ground up and down this creek has these springs. Matter of fact, on the farm we just come from was a little community called Vincent Springs, and they used to have like tent revivals there. And fun history, they was having a tent revival down there one time. This creek flooded, and there was an article in the newspaper about it, and they had a barn down there and a restaurant down there, and anyways, one of the mules drowned. That was in I wish I could find that newspaper clipping, and I would put it on the video. But yeah, water just springs up all over this farm. But if you can ever get it planted, it will grow a crop. Because it has years like this is when it shines, because it has a high water table. It's actually quite amazing that we even got it planted. This was one of the first farms we ran old Big John on. And with it, I was able to plant spots I've never planted before. With them two-wheel drive tractors, I've just been having to pull around them. But old Big John got them dry enough that we was able to plant them. But it's fair beans down through here, and they are quite a bit better than the beans I was cutting on. You can see here on the map, you see how much more green we got. These red areas are sandy areas where old man Keithley dug his pond in the center of it, and he laid all the subsoil out on top of the topsoil right out here in front of this pond. That was long before my time. But that's the stories, that's the history that has been relayed to me by the old men in the community. When I first rented this farm, there was some people couldn't believe that I put corn on it. It's actually really, it's actually a pretty good little farm. It's always a challenge to get it planted, but it normally makes a pretty good crop. Out here is a high pH ground, but we actually, even though it's high pH, we did spread some lime on it, calcitic lime, because all this right here is super high in magnesium, and we spread that calcitic lime. And calcitic is different than dolomitic, because dolomitic has magnesium in it, and we didn't want that magnesium. All our soils are very high in magnesium, but we spread calcitic lime to get that calcium to magnesium ratio in balance, and I think it made a big difference, because I know it's red right here, but areas that would normally make 0 on that was making, 20 bushel this year, and it would normally make 0, and I think some of that it just has to do with correcting the balance of the soil. I'm gonna deadhead up here. I got my angle set. This is all really high in phosphorus right here too. So this year we didn't even apply any DAP. We took the money we would spend on DAP and applied extra potash, trying to get that base saturation up on it. But right there you see that dip in my PTO ditch. That's where you'll just be going along, and bloop, you're in the spring. I about got memorized where most of them are. Now look at that pretty clean sample of beans. It ain't perfect, but pretty good for a John Deere. And we are going, I did set this combine a little tighter than what I normally do, because we're fixing to go into Bend. This is a share rent farm, so it's going to town, but get on, fix and start on double crop beans on my grandmother's. There's 140 acres of double crop beans. And we're fixing to start on them, and they're going into Bend, so trying to get no more pods than we have to in there. These beans, I come in here and replanted them, and I can't remember if they was on a slide angle. I think I replanted them on a slide angle, but in places they're like twin row beans, and I don't know, just looking out across them, some spots don't look like they was even. It looked like there was a good stand, but I do know. I know I thought we had a stand. I come back and sprayed them. Thought I was cleaning them up for the year. And I was like, holy crap, where'd all my beans go? So I came back in there and replanted them. We got a frost. frosted a little earlier than it normally does this year, so at this point we're just cutting them as we come to them. Early beans, full season beans. Well, we got quite a few early beans we had. These full season beans might as well be double crops. They was all planted about the same time. But we got a good frost and they're cutting easy. They done got down to 9.5. We started about 2 hours earlier this morning. Just because you can watch your yield just go down throughout the day as that moisture drops. These have been being in pretty good shape. I've been being about 12 and a half when we started this morning. We started this morning at 10, they was 13 and a half. And now they're down to, we got moved into this field at lunchtime and it was 12 and a half at lunchtime. And now it is 4 o'clock and they're down to 9 and 10. And like I said, you can just watch the yield fall. You just watch your yield fall as the day goes through, as that moisture drops out of them beans. I'm gonna try to do like we done last year and put them beans in the bin. We're gonna hopefully blow them suckers. Like on foggy mornings and rainy days, I'd blow them beans, and I actually put a point of moisture back in them beans last year. I hauled more beans out of the bin than I put in the bin. That's the first time I've ever done that. If only I had a fancy bin manager to do that for me. But I just got to use my old noggin. Robert's going to town to take the truck off. Really need a dump. I was hoping he'd get back with the buggy before I had to dump. Well, I mean, it's good that the beans are doing good and I'm going to be full before he gets back. Bless his heart, he's had a boring week. I've been running the combine and it's just not, it's not exciting at all running the grain buggy and soybeans. Especially when yields are off like they are this year. It's 4 o'clock and we're already getting shadows. One thing sucks about this year is it getting dark. Lord, I ran in the dark for, I don't know, an hour last night. Got off the combine and could swear it was 9 o'clock. Looked at my phone, it was 8 o'clock. I see Roberto. Hustle up, Robert, hustle up. I guess right here's a spot that they didn't come up because I don't see but one row of beans. But I don't know, normally replant beans aren't as good as you first planted, but this year I kind of think there's a little window in there at the end of June that I think is going to be the best beans. And it's like a bell curve right in there about the 3rd week of June, 4th week of June, then 1st week of July. On them 1st week of July beans, they start tapering off. I thought I had something wrong. Is the grain tank full? It's been so long since I've heard it. Alright, I'll bring you back when me and the Roberto unload on the go. features. Like a 9500 and 9600 had a deal where when you swung the auger out, it boosted your horsepower and give you more power for unloading on the go. Like right here, I know I've been running 3.5, but I gotta slow down to 3 miles an hour. That auger takes more horsepower to pull than you think for, especially green corn. High moisture corn, it'll suck up some horsepower. Well, a high moisture bean.